Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are so excited today to have with us the producers and, in some cases, the actors from the wonderful new independent film that's coming out at South by Southwest Switch Up. We have Mr. Larry Kronk and Sal Velez Jr. Say hello, everybody.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Morning.
Now, let's start by talking about Switch Up, which is what we're here for. How do we get involved? What was the process like of making this thing for both of you guys?
Larry, do you want to shoot first?
Well, you know what? Yeah, I'll start with that.
I'll drink my whiskey with you.
All right. Basically, I'm an actor and I own a restaurant, and Sal is a good friend of mine, and he basically said, "Hey, Larry, we're looking for, maybe a part in this movie, and we're also looking for an investor." And I was like, "Well, you know what, Sal? Let's start the ball rolling." And met with some people via phone and talked to Tara, and things sounded great, and so I just continued on, and quite honestly, kind of hung on to Sal's shirt tail, and got into the movie with that, and let my talent do the rest. And it was a lot of fun, to be honest with you. I flew down to Brownsville and had a great time with everybody. I mean, it was a lot of great people in the cast and crew.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the cast and crew is very talented. But you've had, quite an extensive career, and you've done a lot of stuff yourself, Larry. So that's, it's not to say nothing that you've of what you've done yourself. You know what I mean? You've worked with my personal favorite director of all time, Mr. Spike Jonze. So.
Oh yes, yeah, that was an adaptation. That was great. That was a quick little walk-on role that he threw me, and I was surprised by that, by being a paramedic. He's like, "Here, do this." I'm like, "Okay, sounds good to me." So yeah, Spike he was a great guy.
He's fantastic. Now, Sal, you talked about Larry said he rode your coattails. How'd those coattails get there?
Oh, Larry's being humble. Larry's being humble. He Larry and I known each other, I think at that point, for about 4 years, right? 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And he owns and runs an establishment that was in a town that I lived in right outside of Los Angeles. And we're both from Chicago originally. And so what happened is we became a friendship. And before, when I go into places, I don't walk in saying, "Hey, it's Sal the actor." I usually try and hide in a corner and order something to eat, and then get to know the owners. That's my energy, just to get to know people and say hi to them, and genuinely just be a person, a human being. I don't want to be Sal the actor. And Larry always treated me with the utmost respect. And then come to find out, a lot of other actors that we know that have been working actors forever also attended this place, this establishment. And so it was such a common denominator, was a comfortable place. And over the years, I would go in and out of movies and TV shows, and I always told Larry, when the right project that I feel is right for us to get into, I'm going to bring you in. And he'd be like, "Yeah, okay, you want some barbecue sauce with those wings?" And I'm like, "Yeah, let's do it." And that was his response. So he was always downplaying the whole thing. But eventually, this Switch Up script hit my table, and I thought it was a feel-good story with a comedy, which is my root because I'm an improver. But also, it had a lot of grit. It talked about the homeless situation. It brought us back to Texas. It had a lot of beautiful elements of the story. And I said, "Man, I want to share this with Larry and see if he's interested." And sure enough, we both went ahead and put the green light on this one.
Honestly, you're similar in a way to Larry, that you've had like such a long career and a really beautiful career. Like, you've been in Gentefied, Mayans. You've been in all these great roles, specifically around Latino actors, which for me is huge because I am also, a big old brown boy. So sure. Yeah, it's really important for me to see that on screen, and I love that you're a part of this, and I love that you're doing those roles. Can you talk about how those roles have affected you and your career?
Absolutely. There's nothing more rewarding than getting first of all, rewinding everything back. Everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, whether you're writing it down or whether you're just telling it to someone, right? We're all storytellers in some way. I just happen to have a pretty decent talent, about this much talent, of telling other people's stories. And you know, I use their dialogue, but I'm also using a lot of experiences of my life, things that I've been through, things I've been part of. And so basically I'm vomiting the writer's material onto the screen. And as an improver, you know, it can drive a director crazy. It can drive a writer crazy because they were like, holy shit, how'd you come up with that? You know, we gave you a paragraph and you went with 3 pages. You know what I'm saying? It happens to me all the time. But I find that, you know, I'm not here to politically work with you. I'm here to tell a story. And so all you have to worry about, and I tell them all the time, you know, in the beginning it was butting heads, but then after a while people start realizing, oh, that's Sal Velez, that's how he works, you know. Because I'd say, listen, just give me the rope I need, turn the cameras on, turn the audio on, and let's shoot this shit. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what's gonna come out of me. I'm trying to tell a story. You know what I mean? And I thought that I was alien like in that way, but my good friends, you know, Edward James Olmos, his same way. John Voight, same way. You know what I mean? We study our craft, we do our work, but when the cameras are rolling, we forget who we are and we just go with it, you know. And I remember doing Mayans with Edward James Olmos, and everybody we'd have these big. If you watch the Mayan show, we'd have these big round table reads, you know, we're like 50 people in the cast and 40 crew members and directors and producers from FX and this huge thing. And I'd be like, wow, look at all these fucking people. And then my actors beside me would be bumping my elbow and be like, did you read the script? Did you read the script? And I'm like, no, I didn't read the script. no, I don't want to read the script. I want to be just as surprised in the moment as everybody else. That's it. That's how I want to be. I want to be like the audience. And if this moves me as a table read, then it's going to move an audience member because it's shocking us, right? We're surprised by the whole element. And when later on during lunch, everybody was like, I can't believe, you know, ragging on me. I can't believe, Sal, you never read your scripts, blah, blah, blah. And then Edward goes, I never read my scripts. And you know, Edward James Olmos, and I'm like, yeah, he don't read his scripts neither. And we both laughed our asses off, you know, and ate our chocolate pudding. So that's how it goes, you know. And I think I answered your question. I believe I did. I don't know.
You absolutely did. So speaking of torturing a poor director, let's talk about Tara Pernia here and torturing her while making Switch Up. Can you talk about working with her, both of you?
Oh, sure. I mean, I'll go now, Sal. I had a great time. I flew out to Brownsville, and you know, I was unshaven. I'm playing an FBI guy, and she gives me a hug, welcomes me aboard, and everything. And she's like, "Oh, your scene's coming up in a couple of, you know, about another hour." I'm like, "Oh, okay." So here I go into the bathroom. Time to shave, get myself, you know, all pretty, and get myself a wardrobe, and came out, and it was a wonderful, comfortable feeling. She took me aside, welcomed me aboard, and just had a great relationship with her. And just director talent wise, it was very comfortable. And you know, then we went through scenes with Christian and had a lot of fun with that. And then she threw in a curveball, told Christian to do something, and I just reacted. And you know, I also was a graduate of the Players Workshop in the Second City with improv, and you just you're in the moment, you roll with it. And what was great about Tara is she came back after the scene and just was like, you know, that was really good. I kind of threw a curveball at you, and you took it and stayed in character and did your thing. And I was like, yeah, I felt really comfortable with that. And she was very supportive, and I really enjoyed my experience there. And like I said, the cast and crew, wonderful people, wonderful.
I love that because you're both Second City veterans of the Second City. So, you know, improv group out of Chicago. So obviously you guys are going to be good on your feet as opposed to, you know, most people. I'm gonna give you a secret at the end of this interview. I'm
Oh,
gonna pull the curtain back here in a minute. As soon as we're done, closer to the end of this interview, and give you guys a little heads up as to say that you're not the only two improvisers in this
oh,
group here.
Okay.
Sal, what
and
about
cut to
working with
commercial.
Tara?
No, so and Tara is, well, first of all, you know, it ain't easy to direct. It's a very, very hard job to take on. And I've worked with some incredible directors. I mean, you name it, Oliver Stone, Gus Van Sant. I mean, I've seen some amazing directors, and they are encompassing a larger scale. They're not just there to direct you in your small elements of performance. They're there to guide a whole movie from start to finish. And I watched Oliver Stone do that for Universal when we did Savages together. And so I always said, okay, directors are in their own world. And Tara fits just like that. She's in her own world. She bleeds and breathes the switch up script. From the day that we've met, from the day that she presented a story to me to yesterday, to every single minute, she bleeds and breathes the script. And that is important because you have to live it. You have to know it. You have to know it backwards. You have to know it forwards. But you also have to be, you know, willing to go out on a limb, take chances, take risks. You know, you find yourself dealing with investors and producers and crew members and wardrobe and costume designers and set designers and actors, crazy actors like me. You know, and you're like, she's balancing the whole circus. You know, and I applaud her for doing so, because a lot of people would say, fuck it, I'm out. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. Can we curse on this show?
All day, every day.
Fucking no.
Does it matter now, Sal?
Is this a PG-13 show? No. Anyway, so we, you know, going back to Tara, I just think, you know, without her, this project doesn't get done. You know, and you know, we all run into our, you know, as a human being, sometimes we see things differently. We don't always agree on things. That's normal. That's life. That's very human. But I will say, without her, this movie would not have gotten done.
I love that, and this is perfect because as a good journalist, this bleeds right into my next question, which is for both of you again. Who are some people that you guys look to and that are inspired by?
You first, Larry.
Ooh,
and don't say me. Don't say
Sal Velez.
You can't say Larry, Sal.
No, gosh, you know, I was on set one time, and Peter Gallagher really, really impressed me. It was on it was an Adam Sandler movie, and I was standing in for Adam, and he had this 2-minute monologue that he had to do, and I noticed during the take that something went wrong, and apparently they ran out of film, or they had to change the card or something in the middle of his monologue, and nobody said anything. And then at the very end, you know, they're like, "Hey, that was great, Peter," but, and as they said hesitantly, "But we have to do it again because we ran out of the card, we ran out of space on the card," or whatever. And waiting for that response, you know, from him, and he's like, "Oh, okay, well, let's put another card in and let's just do it again." And I was like, so, because you hear stories about actors that just flip out or go crazy, and to see him do that and just be so professional about it and say, "All right, screw it, you know, mistakes happen, things happen, I'll do it again." And he did his monologue again at the very end with the shareholders, like Mr. Deeds, I think it was what the movie was, and perfect. And you know, and the funny thing is, everybody applauded him because he was just. And it's just, you look at something like that, you're like, you know, don't sweat the small stuff. Yeah. You know, you're going to make mistakes, and that's what life's all about. And so I kind of idolized him in the way he did that, and it really made me kind of grow as an actor, and I really respected that. That's one big story that really touched me.
I love that because it shows the workmanship of being an actor. Like if you're professional about it and you do it the same way every time and it works that time, just keep doing it. It shouldn't be a
Yeah,
problem.
it shouldn't be. I mean, and he nailed it both times, and you're just like, wow, what a professional. And that's somebody I admire for what he did. I thought that was amazing.
I love that. Sal, what you got for me?
I forgot the question. I'm just messing. I'm just messing. No.
Larry Krask. That's your answer.
I would say, you know, in my, I mean, I guess I'm getting old because this is like 23 years now doing this shit. But I think Oliver Stone was probably the one person that, since I had built him up as a kid, I always knew of his work between Platoon and Scarface, you know, and these amazing movies. They were just like mind blowing. They're just politics. They had heroes and villains. They had all this. It was just a fucking amazing experience. And when I finally got to work with him, we're on Savages, and I mean, the cast of people there was John Travolta, and Benicio del Toro, then it was Salma Hayek and Blake Lively and Taylor. I mean, you name it, it was there. It was an A team. It was an A team, and he chose me to be part of that A team. But the whole time, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just watch this guy. I want to watch how he does this. I want to listen to everything he says. And I watched Oliver take a script over 5 months, a project over 5 months of shooting, but he probably was in pre-production for a year before that even began, putting that cast together, and take it from the very beginning of this and go a full rainbow all the way into the editing room. You know, I mean, spending time in the editing room, making cuts, making 3 versions of an ending, you know what I mean? Sound, and just watch this whole thing get delivered. And the whole time he was composed, he never lost his cool. He was able to I should say Pat Riley the whole situation. You know what I mean? He was our Zen master, seriously. And he balanced us all out. He balanced out all the egos and all the attitudes. I mean, like I said, I mentioned that cast to you. You can imagine the egos and the attitude, you know, and I tried my best to be the person with the least amount of any kind of ego or any kind of attitude. I wanted to be just a yes and person. And because I was that way, I was able to internally see everything that he did. And I was just so impressed. And it left just an amazing stamp in my career, because I said, man, I know I watched somebody create, deliver a film, direct a film, and be a success at it, and actually make money. You know what I mean? At the end, not just, oh, we did it, let's go in our van and go fishing. No, he made money and continues to make stuff. So I just was so impressed with that whole experience. So I'd say he was one of the people that made the biggest impression on me with that delivery.
I love that, because Oliver Stone is one of my dad's favorites because of the film Salvador that he did.
Hey, what the hell? What are you saying? I'm your dad?
No, you're not old enough to be my dad yet.
Hey,
you're not old enough to be my dad, man.
Okay.
Not yet.
I like it.
Nah.
I like it. Let's go with it.
Nah, you're not old enough yet, bro. Don't worry about it. So the next question I ask everybody is the hardest question, and I ask every guest, like I told Larry, from Oscar winners to directors of films that are never going to make money in their lives, and everybody in between, they get asked the same 2 questions. The one I just asked you, and this one. If there were 2 movies you had to watch for the rest of your life, what would they be and why?
Oh. Good answer.
Yep. Okay. Oh, shaving cream.
Yep.
One would be, I really, really love Shawshank Redemption. I don't know why. I love the story. I love just the acting, the characters, the set. I love that. That one I could watch over and over again. The other one was Into the Wild.
Oh, good pick.
Loved the cinematography. Really, really got into the story. Loved the characters. the biggest thing that impressed upon me was the cinematography that was done on the movie. The story was wonderful. I mean, I really did. I loved the story, but just watching it and everywhere that he went and just the filming of it, I thought those two, and those are two of my favorite movies that I really enjoy and I could watch over and over again. So yeah, two movies. I think those would be it. Yeah, those are the two.
I love that answer, and it's funny because the cinematographer of Into the Wild, Eric Gaultier, is a really good cinematographer. He did like Perish at Time and Ashes to Purest White. He's a great cinematographer, so that's a
Yeah.
great pick, and I love that you did that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's just a movie that moves me. Yeah, just visually and just as an actor, and it's just and as somebody who's just watching, as a participant engaged in the story.
Listen, Sean Penn really leaned on that, so yeah, as the director, he
Yeah,
really leaned on that. Yeah,
Can't
he
go wrong
really
with
did.
yeah, he
You
did.
you you can't go wrong. You're right. So Sal, what two films would you pick and why?
There's so many. There's
Yes.
so many. I mean, uh, there are so many, just so many amazing pieces. They're all equally, wonderful. I guess, you know, I'm gonna give you three. Is it okay if I give you three?
No.
Oh, that's horrible. That's just horrible. All right, I'm out. No. No, no, all right. So um, I would say Bing Crosby's White Christmas.
Okay.
That
Okay.
that was Danny Kaye, Bing Crosby. That was filmed in an era that I think Technicolor was just finally mastering the colors of a film and going from that black and white experience into finally mastering. It's almost like the way Disney mastered color right after Snow White, like their pictures were just like it's just so memorable. Every frame by frame, costume design, the choreography, the songs, the numbers. I mean, you're just like, wow. And then it's Danny Kaye and Bing Crosby. I mean, Danny Kaye is one of my favorites. I mean, you can sing, act, and do comedy, and he could juggle. He was a dancer. He had all these avenues. But I just that was like such a vivid piece. It's there's so many more that are similar, but that one was so incredible because not only visually were you taken to that place, but you audio wise you could just listen to it on the soundtrack and say, wow, that movie is like, it's like almost listening to a radio show. You know what I mean? It's just that big experience. The second one, I would have to say, and there's so many good ones. There's so many good honorable mentions, but I would have to say, Bustin' Loose with Richard Pryor.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah. I think Richard Pryor was ahead of his time, as a comedian, as a personality, as an actor. I think he was just, you know, if I could ever be the actor that he was, that would be just, you know, just a heaven for me because he lived in a vulnerable space. He was so vulnerable, so many things going on in his life, and when the cameras turned on, you saw all this expression coming out. And then you had Cicely Tyson, and you had this beautiful, amazing story about this kids going across America from Philadelphia to Washington. They never seen anything, so road trip movies made a big impression on me. But I just remember Richard Pryor being so in the moment, like so humble and so, just and still delivering comedy throughout this dramatic story, just making you laugh, making you cry. I think that was a full experience for me.
I love that. Those are two good movies, actually. So I'm glad you picked both of those. So I'm going to reveal something. I did not prepare, nor did I plan any questions for this interview. Everything that we've done today has been completely improvised.
Shame on
Uh,
you.
shame on me. I
Shame.
figured, I figured you would
Shame.
roll with the punches, and you did, and it worked out. So I did my research, but I didn't actually plan any questions. I just sort of rolled with it. You know what I mean? And
Cool.
that's my favorite part about doing certain interviews is if I know that person can improv, I won't even prepare questions because I don't like sounding like a radio. or like a, like a recording. So let's go ahead and end this with a very simple project and a very simple play here. All you have to do is give us a 30-second elevator pitch for why people should check out Switch Up.
Ooh. Yeah.
Golly. Okay. Gosh. Well, first off, I'm involved in this movie, so yes, I want everybody to go see it. But I think the storyline is phenomenal. I said, it's a kind of a rags to riches to reality kind of thing, where I should say riches to rags to reality kind of thing. You have an amazing cast, amazing locations, just a great bunch of people that I really enjoyed working with. I mean, everybody I talked to there was just so into the project, and that's what I'm looking forward to at the premiere. Is like just this. I can't wait to see this. I mean, it's going to be so exciting, and I want to share it with the world. I really do, and that's how I feel about it. I'm so excited to go to South by Southwest in Austin next week. Is it next week?
It is.
Second. Yeah. Oh wow. Jeez. Okay. But yeah. Sorry. I probably went over 30 seconds. I'm sorry about that, but yeah, that's my thing. Sorry. Thank you.
Nah, it's good. That's good. Sal, can we do this in 30 seconds?
Sure. Texas is an amazing part of the country. It's like it's its own country. I've always looked at Texas and Alaska and California as they're so self-sufficient. They're very independent states, and the culture that comes from there is just amazing. So we got an opportunity to shoot this movie in Brownsville, Texas, which is a border town, and we're showing homeless, we're showing people going through pain, suffering, but we're also doing it through a comedic volume with using characters that are very broad and bilingual, and also an ability for an audience to see something that's completely the elephant in the room, but to see it through a satire and see what it's like for someone to go through all these feelings and expressions. So
that was well executed. Nice little bow on top of that. Guys, it's been a pleasure to speak with you today. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you for a little bit. So thank you for spending time with me. You guys make sure if you're at South by Southwest next week to check out Switch Up with these two fine gentlemen in the film. Is there anything else you want to leave the audience with before I let you go?
I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, one and all.
No worries, Larry. It's a pleasure, man.
I want to say thank you. I want to say hello to everybody, best to everybody's families back home. Also, if we can just do one thing, and that's just be a better human being than we were yesterday. Every day we just be a better human being. That's it.
I think that's a darn high and a damn high note to go out on. So thank you guys so much. Sal Velez, Larry Krask, here for Switch Up with me, Will, from Film Snob Reviews. We'll see you guys next time.